You know those chatbots, right? The ones that forget your name like a minute after you tell them? But what if an AI could do the exact opposite? What if it could actually remember? Today, we're going to dive into Echo, a really different kind of AI companion that's built to solve a deeply human problem, the feeling of not being heard.
So, to really get why something like Echo is so important, you have to start with this number. Think about this for a second. A staggering 1 in 4 of us will struggle with our mental health at some point. And for so many people, the hardest part is feeling like you've got no one to talk to.
And you know, sometimes that feeling, it has a sound. This phrase, "Dil mein void hai," it just perfectly captures that hollow feeling, that void in your heart. It's a kind of ache that, let's be honest, most technology just isn't built to understand.
And that brings us right to the core of the issue, what we're calling the loneliness problem, and why the digital tools we have right now just aren't cutting it.
This is where you see the huge difference. On one side, you've got your standard chatbot. You pour your heart out, and what do you get back? Because it has zero memory, it gives you some generic advice like, hey, try yoga, and then forgets your name 5 minutes later. But on the other side, you have the whole idea behind Echo, an AI that remembers who you are, remembers your pain, and actually learns what helps you. And that was the whole point for the creator. This wasn't about building another forgetful bot. It was about solving this problem of digital amnesia and creating something that feels like it's actually there for you, consistently. So how in the world does Echo pull this off? Well, it all comes down to a specific kind of technology that really sets it apart. AI agents. Okay, so this is the key question, right? We hear the term AI thrown around all the time. But what exactly makes an agent so different from just a regular old chatbot? Well, the answer really comes down to three superpowers. An AI agent has memory, which is the foundation for remembering your entire journey with it. It has state, so it can actually understand your mood right now. And it has orchestration, which is a fancy way of saying it can use a bunch of different specialized skills all at once. So, with that in mind, let's pop the hood and take a look at Echo's inner workings to see how these agents actually do their thing. Think of it like a little team of specialists working inside your phone. When you send a message, it first goes to the supervisor, who's kind of like the team captain. The supervisor then directs traffic, passing it to the crisis detector, the mood analyzer, the empathy agent, and the coping researcher. Each one has a very specific job, and they all collaborate to come up with the best possible response. And the foundation for this whole system is a simple but honestly a game-changing idea, a permanent memory. Every single detail, your name, your moods, what works for you and what doesn't, is saved locally and privately, forever. Absolutely nothing gets forgotten. Now, this all sounds great in theory, but let's see how it actually comes together in a real conversation. Let's see this companion in action. So it all starts pretty simply. The user, Satyam, just introduces himself. From this exact moment, Echo will never ever forget his name. Then he shares that feeling we talked about. There's a void in my heart today. And this is the moment Echo's specialized agents all kick into high gear. And boom, the response is instant. The mood analyzer flags the low score, and the empathy agent immediately takes the wheel. It knows that someone feeling this way doesn't need a bunch of questions. They just need support. So Echo responds with pure empathy, in the user's own language. So Echo might suggest a common coping mechanism. But then comes this really critical piece of feedback. The user says breathing exercises didn't help. This is where a normal chatbot would just completely fall apart. And this is the magic right here. This is where memory changes everything. Echo doesn't just say, oh, sorry. It learns. That little piece of information gets saved into its permanent memory. It will never suggest that specific coping tool to Satyam ever again. Okay, now the user closes the app. Time passes. Let's fast forward a couple of days, because this is where we see the real power of this whole memory thing. On day 3, he comes back and just types, I'm feeling bad. Now, a generic chatbot would start all over again, probably asking something like, oh no, what's wrong? But Echo remembers. And this response is, wow, it's just incredible. It uses his name, Satyam. It remembers the specific way he described the feeling before, calling it that heaviness. And then it just offers simple presence. I am right here. This isn't just a chatbot response. That's real recognition.
This demo really gets to the very soul of the project. It's not just about clever technology, it's about the philosophy of remembering.
And for all you tech folks out there, the philosophy even shows up in the tools they used. It's built with accessible, open source tech, and most importantly, everything runs locally on your device. No external APIs, nothing. This keeps your conversations completely private, and it invites anyone to jump in and build on the code.
And this really gets to the heart of what Echo is all about. It's not a therapist, it's not a doctor, it doesn't promise to fix your pain. Its purpose is much simpler and maybe way more profound: to just sit with you in your pain and to remember. And all of this leaves us with one big question to think about. In a world full of these fleeting digital interactions, what's the real impact of having a companion that is always there and that never, ever forgets? Could an AI that truly remembers actually change the way we face loneliness?